Hello, friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. In this case, it's going to be all three forms of Titan's Return Blitzwing. I took a look at Octone a little while ago and mentioned Blitzwing, and now it's Blitzwing's turn. So here he is. And yeah, honestly, I initially thought I wanted to get Megatron over Blitzwing. I just, for whatever reason, that appealed to me more. But then when I actually saw Blitzwing in the store, I was like, actually, that's really cool. So got him. Haven't gotten Megatron. Not going to be getting Megatron because I have him. But yeah, Blitzwing is pretty nice. He is another one of those characters that I know pretty much nothing about in terms of the actual character. I'm just familiar with the toy and the name. So I have no actual nostalgic attachment to Blitzwing at all. So just, keep that perspective in mind when I'm talking about this, because I'm probably going to be getting things wrong and making assumptions, as I tend to do. So, Blitzwing's tank is okay. It's... I mean, there are a couple of things about this tank mode that I think are cool, and then some things that I'm just like, In terms of cool stuff, I mean, the color scheme is nice. It's that like tan and purple combination actually works pretty darn well. And I know that's Blitzwing's thing. Looks good. It was also kind of clever how they fold the wings over the back of the tank to kind of tuck them away, but then you've got stickers and purple back there. There are, of course, some fantastic little details molded all over this guy, because it's Titan's Return, and Hasbro and Takara kind of have the whole fine details, almost like as texture thing on lock at this point. It looks really good. And the overall color scheme, I think, is fine. Like, I don't think the purple backside of the tank works all that well, but the actual combination of this tan and purple and light gray and dark gray all works pretty darn well, like as a whole cohesive thing. In terms of stuff that doesn't really work for me for this tank mode, first thing, very much this gap in the front. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not sure how they could have done that any differently, but it's just a little bit like irksome that there's this. It's like, I don't know why that's there. I mean, I guess I know why it's there, but it's just a little unsightly. The purple in the back also is kind of a downer, because you've got a nice tan tank up for about 2/3 of it, and then suddenly it's just the entire backside is purple. Again, not sure how they could have done it differently, but I'm nitpicking, it's what I do. Third issue is I'm kind of bummed that the Titan Master just sits in the top here, and this doesn't really, it's not like an actual canopy or anything. It's just, it sits up and that's it. Like, it would have been nice if it could sit in there, but I don't really know how they could have gotten that to work. So yet another thing I'm complaining about that I think they just physically couldn't do. Last thing that I'm complaining about, this cannon barrel. I feel like it's too small. Like, it could be a little bit longer and a little bit thicker. And the other issue is that when you turn it, like, it likes to angle down slightly, so when you turn it, it just kind of keeps bumping into these, so you have to kind of push back on this a little bit so that you can turn it freely. It's not a huge issue, but it's a little bit annoying. So yeah, that's my complaints about the tank mode. And let's get the Titan Master out of the way here ahead of time, just to get it out of the way. Not bad looking, and lots and lots of little molded details, which very cool. But, they didn't really paint anything, so you got very little color variation. But there aren't too many people, I imagine, that get these toys specifically for just this. So, yeah, not a huge problem. Again, though, I do Really appreciate all the just fine sculpted details that have been appearing in the Titan's Return and also the Last Night line. Hasbro's really been doing a good job with that. All right. What say you to some size comparisons? Because we can, and I want to get this out of the way. Here he is with Octone's terrestrial mode, and it still has that problem. I mean, he's obviously like thicker. They're about the same height. Octone is how to line this up properly. Octone definitely longer, but yeah, Blitzwing's tank mode is definitely denser because it's a tank. And here he is with a Titan's Return Deluxe and Samus. So you can see how they all kind of go together. And I mean, if we're if we want to get technical, I feel like this either the car is way too big or the tank is way too small. If we're gonna like look at scale type stuff, like I've said before, I'm not like a scale snob or anything like that, so it doesn't really bother me. It's just a little bit kind of silly seeing them next to each other. Anyway, that is it for the tank mode. Let's do the jet mode next. How about it? Maybe? Yes? Okay. Right, Blitzwing's jet mode. That is better. That is definitely better. It's just from a color standpoint, it's a much more cohesive color scheme across the bulk of the vehicle mode, where it's definitively purple. Like, there is definitely some tan, but most of it's on the underside, so that's fine. It's a much more cohesive color scheme. The tip being gray doesn't really bother me. It kind of works. Like, it's not irregular for the very, very tip of the nose of a jet to be a different color, so that's fine. Yeah, it looks good. Definitely way more stickers on display here than there were in the tank mode. And a lot of it is robot stuff too, which hides relatively well. The thing that really bugs me about the jet mode is he's got these, like, I guess these are supposed to be the wheels for the jet that are just on top of the tank turret, and it doesn't always want to balance because, like, you know, they're way back there, so, you know, it's easy for it to kind of get all wobbly. Not a huge deal, but it is a thing. But then, of course, how I was talking about the tank cannon seemingly being too small, I feel like if it were bigger, it would be a bigger problem in jet mode. I mean, you can yank it off, so I kind of feel like they could have still done it. They could have still done it, and this could have just tucked somewhere else, but I mean, really the only thing about this jet mode that's a little bit wonky is just the junk that hangs out right underneath the wings. But honestly, the wings hide it pretty well, so you get a pretty decent jet silhouette here. You know, that is not bad. Not bad at all. And like I said, cohesive color scheme with some very nice texture all over the place, as is the norm. And you can pop this open, and There's even a little bit of nice little molded stuff, molded details on the inside there. So yeah, definitely the jet, plane, whatever you want to call it, is definitely the stronger of Blitzwing's modes. And speaking of stronger of the three modes, here's Octone and his jet mode, which is just difficult to get them both adequately put on the camera together. And pretty much just like the tank, Octone is longer and thinner, while Blitzwing is sort of stout almost. Still, I mean, I feel like like I said, I'd like Octone's truck mode more if that front cab actually held together. Anyway, so Blitzwing's jet mode next to a Titan's Return Deluxe and Samus. Will you stand? Oh, look at that! Chrome Dome stands all on his own. So there you can see he's a good size. All right, Chrome Dome, you're coming with me, and you. Okay, so that is it for Blitzwing's jet. Yeah, no, it's a solid jet mode, really. I can ignore the crumbled up tank bits underneath the wings. Just overall, it does a much better job of hiding the tank than the tank does of hiding the jet. Anyway, how about we do the robot mode? And now finally we come to Blitzwing's robot mode, and this is interesting for me. There are certain things about this that I'm kind of like about, but like overall, just aesthetically, I think Blitzwing actually looks really nice. The purple and tan colors are much more not evenly distributed per se, because they're kind of in different disparate places, but they're more proportionally distributed, where you've got big chunks of the tan on the arms and then like the purple mostly towards the middle there, with little bits of tan there, little bits of purple there. It's a much better balance, I think. And you definitely get much more of this lighter gray too, which kind of just helps to keep things from getting too focused on the duotone kind of style here. But yeah, looks good. The proportions are a little off. Mostly I feel like the arms are a little bit too beefy and the head almost looks a little bit tiny. It's one of those things where in photos I kind of got that impression more than actually having him in hand. In hand, it's not really like, his head might be a little bit small, but it's not like distractingly small, which is kind of what I thought it would be. So yeah, it's proportionally, a couple of problems, but overall looks good. And again, I do like the color scheme. There's very little here that wasn't already on display in either jet or tank mode, but a little bit. For some reason, I quite like these feet. There's just something about like the shape coupled with these kind of lines just going down that just, I don't know, it pleases me. And then the detail that was the top of the jet ends up looking quite nice as robot shins. Some nice molded details for the thighs. And yeah, lots and lots of nice little molded bits. A lot of this stuff was in, you could see a lot of this stuff in the tank mode on the underside, but you know, you don't really look at the underside of the tank. So, and in jet mode, this was down here. So you still saw this, which does look nice. That plate looks nice, and I like that they put a little bit of extra molded detail on the like on the inside there too. And you also have this button that flips up the head thingies, which are unnecessary and will be staying. They'll be staying down there for now. But yeah, I like this added detail that gets revealed when you put up the chest piece, like just this kind of robo rib cage and stuff. It looks nice. And then again, more nice textural detail that gets revealed once this gets flipped back. And it kind of fakes the size of the shoulder, but it's all right. I do have to give him credit too. Like, this is actually kind of a clever mechanism, how that turns and goes out, but then it also hinges down for the transformation. The only downside is if you put the arm out like that, it makes that look super duper thin. But that's why you only photograph things from specific camera angles and such, right? And the hands, I totally get why they used the tan plastic and then painted it purple for the hands. Absolutely understand that. I just wish they had painted a little bit more purple around the rim there, because if he's not holding a weapon, that is just a little bit distracting. But I do like the rest of the way the arms look. And, well, again, the chunkiness is a bit weird. I actually kind of like the treads on the outside. It just adds a little bit of just added interest to the shape and color of the arms. And I suppose we should take a look at his Titan Master face, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should. So, there we go. And it's funny. I feel like I should be bothered by the fact that that yellow is only on his head. It's nowhere else, but it actually kind of works. And I mean, it's also, from what I've seen from, like, you know, other figures and third-party offerings and stuff, like the yellow helmet is kind of his shtick. But yeah, looks good. The face is nice. Pop that off for a slightly closer look here. The red and yellow is a really nice combo. The purple face, I'm kind of neither here nor there on it, but you know, it's Blitzwing. What do I know? But it's, you know, it fits in nicely with the. Come on, get back in there. Get back. Why aren't you going back in? Come on, really? Anyway, while I'm fiddling with this, the purple is a nice kind of, the purple face. There we go. The purple face, actually. I was doing this. Okay. The purple face fits nicely with the other purpleness of the figure, so no complaints there. The thing sticking up, it's, again, I feel like if the tank turret were bigger, this would be more of a problem, which stinks because then, you know, tank mode kind of suffers for it, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And I think that's actually part of how Blitzwing is supposed to be. I mean, you could flip it around and have it going down. The only problem is when you flip it around, now he's got this giant plank behind his head because of how this all goes together. Of course, you could remove this and just, I don't know, you can hold it like a baton or a torch or something. But you know, there are options. I mean, like I keep saying, it's not so much of a distraction to me that I feel it necessary to hide it completely, but it's a thing. And Like, I know there are a couple of different ways you can do the wings. I like to have them folded out on this hinge, because there's this, which is the prime, like that's the whole extended wing, but then it's got this extra hinge there, and that gives you just enough space with those arms so that you can give him like a nice little winged silhouette there. And honestly, that's a pretty nice looking back too. Like, just the overall shape and silhouette of it is quite nice. And I've said this before, but I like how Hasbro's actually having fun with some of the hollow space. So like here, yeah, it's hollow, but you got these interesting piston details that almost make it look intentional. So, go Hasbro, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, he's pretty neat overall, honestly. I was expecting to be kind of like, about him, but then when I saw him next to Octone, I was like, well, gotta get him and Octone, and then after spending some time with him, I was kind of like, okay, he's actually quite cool. And speaking of Octone, here's his buddy. Okay, we're gonna do that now. Cool. So, there's Octone. And yeah, they're not quite the same size. Blitzwing is actually a little bit taller and definitely beefier, which is interesting. Like, I mean, Octone still looks really cool, and I think Octone has the overall better proportions of the two of them, but like, they make a good pair, and Blitzwing is definitely a, he's got the physique of a robot that I would not want to mess with. It's almost burly, which I'm not sure if that's in keeping with the character, but it's a good look. There you. And of course, where would we be without our Titans Return Deluxe and Samus comparisons? So yeah, he's, I guess, Titans Return Voyager size, maybe a tiny bit taller. Definitely chunky. He might actually be the beefiest Voyager Titans Return figure that I own, because Leo Prime is not, he's not skinny, but there's just, yeah, his torso is just like super bulked out. Well, I mean, super bulked out in comparison. So yeah, that is Titans Return Blitzwing, and yeah, it's weird how I sometimes will just on a whim see a Titans Return figure in the store and be like, I'm gonna get that and hope that I love it, and I end up loving it. And then there are a couple of times where I either actively search for one or find one in a store similarly and end up being kind of disappointed. But yeah, no, Blitzwing and Octone, they both fall distinctly in the category of I end up loving them because, yeah, they're really cool. They look great next to each other. They each have a kind of a weak, one of their vehicle modes is kind of weak. I still am just disappointed because Octone's truck mode would be great if it just held together in the front. But anyway, they look great. Ultimately, overall, they look great. Their robot modes both look great. And yeah, they're totally worth it. I don't own Titans Return, Voyager Prime, or Voyager Megatron, so I can't do the like mold comparisons, but from what I've seen, I think Octone and Blitzwing are the way to go with those two molds, respectively, because they're really nice. They seem to be a little bit more well thought out in terms of like color and sticker placement and stuff like that. So they do look good. Anyway, I'm doing that thing again. So that has been my look at Titans Return Voyager class Blitzwing. He is well worth it if you can find him. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any number of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.